Hey guys! So today I'm going to be showing you how to make a little animation using a JFrame and a JPanel. Let's begin. So we have a class that is extending JFrame. Inside of it, we have a main method. Otherwise, this won't work. I've made that mistake before. Inside, we will create a new JFrame. Let's call it frame. Then we will set its size. Let's say 400 by 400, or even less. Let's make it 300 by 300. Then we will add the panel that we want to draw on. So up here you can see that I've made another class called Circle Animation. It will be extending JPanel, and so, And so we will be adding this panel to our frame by using the .add method. Okay, then let's make sure that when we close our program, that the code will stop running in the background. That we just, close it. It's done. And we do that by using the set default close operation, and inside the brackets, jframe.exitOnClose. And finally, I could argue this is one of the most important parts to this frame, is to set visible to true. Otherwise, we will not see our frame. So let's just run this and see if we get a frame. Perfect. So we have our frame working. So now let's make the panel. We cannot draw on the frame. This is why we create a panel, which we can draw on, and then we add it to the frame. The frame is just like a holder. The frame is just like a frame. Haha. Okay, so if you're confused with how to begin, well, let's just create our constructor, and then we will think about what we need in our class. I would like to make a circle that moves across the screen and bumps off of both sides when it hits the edge. So let's create an x and y variable, for the circle. Also, since the circle is going to be moving, we want to create something that is going to control its movement. So let's create this, let's call this val x, which will just stand for velocity x. Now that we have created an x and y variable that will control where our ball begins and how it will move, and we have created a variable that will control its movement, well, now we need to create a timer. So you might be wondering, why do we need a timer? Well, first of all, one thing I'm going to specify is that we're using the swing timer. What the timer will do is it will activate the action listener. And you can think of a timer as a button that is being clicked in even intervals. So let's initialize our timer in the constructor. New timer. Inside the brackets, we will set its delay. So when I put 1000, you might be thinking, what the heck is that? Don't stress. It's 1000 milliseconds, which is just 1 second. So it's like this button, this action listener, will be activated every 1 second. And then inside it, we will create which action listener to call. So let's call it move listener. And brackets, because this is a class. Now, we can create our class in a separate file, but we will be making an inner class since these are very related to each other. And the private class will be able to see our class's instance data, our variables. So we say private class move listener implements action listener There is one method that the action listener has. We are implementing it, so we must implement its method. Its method is called action performed, and its parameter is action event E. We're calling it E. We can call it. Okay. I think that's totally fine. Like, let me just try one sec. It shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. I don't know why that confused me. Yeah, that's totally fine. Call it whatever you want, as long as its type is action event. Okay. Well, we haven't really done anything yet. Now let's do the actual drawing. We have set everything up to make this possible. So we need to have our paint component method. This is part of the JPanel, so we are overriding it in a way. The JPanel's paint component takes the parameter of graphics object. There is something newer called graphics 2D. So even though in the method signature we are using the graphics object, inside of the paint component method we are casting it to graphics 2D. And the very top line is very important, super.paint component. This is what is redrawing our background. Now, I have created a circle using ellipse2d.double. Here, where we have to put the circle's x and y coordinate, which is its top left corner, I have put in the x and y that will be changing, our variables that we have already made. And 2020 is just its width and height, possibly radius, or maybe even diameter. So by setting them both the same, we are making a perfect circle. Now I set its color, and now let's draw this bad boy. And to make it real nice, let's fill it. Fill circle. So let's see if that worked. Great, so our circle is showing up on the screen. Now we just need it to move. Well, we have a timer that is calling action listener, our action listener move listener, every 1 second. So let's tell it to move the circle every 1 second. We will do this by changing the x variable. And how do we do this? Well, we will do this by adding its velocity. Oh wait, we haven't set the velocity to something. So let's put that in our constructor. Let's tell it to move 1. Add 1 to the current x location. Now our circle should be moving. But wait, we haven't started the timer. We will do that in the constructor, so that as soon as our program starts running, we will start the timer. Now let's see if this works. One really important thing I forgot to mention is that we need to repaint our panel every time that the X changes, and we do that by calling the repaint method. The repaint method is a preset method that it just means redraw the paint component. We will never call paint component directly, or not that I know of, but we will call repaint. So let's see if that works. As you can see, the circle is moving, but it's moving really, really slowly. So let's speed it up by making it move less than every 1 second. So I have set the delay to 50 milliseconds, and as you can see, the circle is moving really quickly. But oh no, the circle just went off our screen, and it's pretty much just going off the screen, far, far away to a different world. How do we fix this? Well, we can fix this by just setting some if-else statements in our action listener. So to fix this is really simple by just using an if-else statement. We will say that if the ball's location is between the left edge and the right edge, so pretty much if it's inside of the frame, keep moving it in the direction that it's supposed to go. But as soon as it hits the edge, then flip the direction that it's going in. So A, it needs to know where the edge is, and B, we are just flipping the location, the direction, by setting its velocity to negative, just flipping it. So here you might see that I've said if it's greater than 0 and if it's less than 280. Why 280? Well, because our circle's diameter is 20, so we want to make sure that it looks realistic, that when it hits the edge, it's not going fully off the screen and then it's coming back. No. We want it to look like it's hitting the edge and then going the other direction. So let's see if this works. Okay, the moment of truth. I could even make it a little bit more. I think I just realized that 20 is not its diameter, it's its radius. So I think it will look better if we set it to 40. What I mean by that is if we make it if x is less than 260. Okay, so I have changed the if else to be that if it's less than 260. Yes! That looks much better. I actually don't know if it exactly hit the edge. Something's weird about that, but it looks a lot better now. As you can see, the ball is hitting the edge and then moving back. Thank you so much for staying with me for this tutorial. Thank you.